If you ask me what the best performance-oriented part I ever bought from my Gen 1 Dodge Dakota, I'm going to tell you this right here. This is a Holley Hooker Blackheart Transmission Crossmember, and it's made for a Gen 3 Hemi swap for whatever Mopar transmissions go behind the Hemis. However, I first bought this not long after it came out for my LS Swap Dakota that had a turbo 400 in it at the time. And this thing bolted right up. Then I swapped over to a 4L80E transmission. And this thing I was able to bolt up. We're going to be using it again on another project that we have called Gramps. It's getting a 4.8 liter turbo and another 4L80E transmission. And it's already in place. We're going to work it out. So this is the third one we've bought. So this is going to go behind our V10 and our 47RE trans. So we're gonna find a place. I mean, there's only one place to mount it on the frame. It comes with these awesome little brackets, and the one with the 2 holes mount to the frame, and then you have different provisionings for however you need to mount this transmission. So there's all kinds of adjustability, and if you look at this right here, we also have all kinds of room here to drill a couple more holes if we needed to. The same thing goes for the other bracket. The other bracket's a little bit slotted to allow for some adjustment. But what I'm getting at is I think between this and this, which is the factory transmission mount bracket for a Dodge 47RE transmission, between the two of these guys, I think we're going to have something with the addition of a GM style energy suspension transmission mount. So if we look at this guy underneath here, we can take our mounting plate. We are super close to being able to use this in either area here, which is a good sign. We may have to make a little clearance here, maybe with a little Dremel tool, open it up a little bit with a carbide bit, which may not be too big of a deal at all. But I have a feeling between the three of these things, we're going to be in business when it comes to getting this trans centered up and mounted for good. So we can get all that mocked up. And then once all that's mocked up, we can mock up everything else. We can get exhaust in place. We can hang the fenders. We can do the front core support. And then we can figure out our radiator. So these are our biggest obstacles to kind of get figured out. We've already got the crossmember notch for the oil pan. If you haven't seen that, we notched the firewall. I did that last week for the transmission. I still got a little clearancing to do, but you can see it in there. But we're making progress. So we need to get underneath this truck, get this crossmember in place, and then see what we're working with. So that's our goal today. So first things first, let's get this bracket back up in place. There we go. This bracket right here, this guy has just regular holes in it. This other bracket, this guy, has slots in it. The ones with just holes goes on the passenger side. It's going to mount up here. Now this one mounts with the part that mounts is facing down, I guess you could say. This is what mounts to the actual frame, and then the bracket goes up. So this is the orientation that this side mounts. Front of the truck is that way, rear of the truck is that way. It's going to mount right here like this. So I'll throw some bolts in it, get it up there. If you're doing this and you still have your factory hardware, it's very helpful because it's a flange bolt. And you can throw it in a socket and get it up in there. And another one. Another one. Sorry. I wanted a little, just a little loose because we're going to want to move some stuff around. There we go. So again, note that this mounting surface is up because it's going to be opposite on the other side. Speaking of the other side, slots. Not holes, slots. And then this one's going to be facing down. So let me throw some hardware in there. I'm happy. I might have just cross-threaded that dude. Okay. Now, this part should not be too bad, but I need to jack the trans up first. Get this guy jack back up. Oop, that's the truck. Gonna go down just a little. Move him out the way. And now, try to get this thing in place. If we look at the cross member, we've got a high area and a low area. So the high area goes on that side, and we already have some interference problems with this bracket, which that's okay. I think that's okay. Let's see if we can go forwards. Try that. Yep, we're gonna have to trim that bracket. I had a feeling we were gonna have to, so I need to make some cuts and cut this bracket up and then take another shot at it. Because I think we're gonna be able to mount it back here on these back two bolts pretty confidently, actually. I wonder if I don't know. Can I mount? Can I just mount the damn crossmember right there? Or the energy suspension mount? Do I need that bracket at all? Can I just mount it to this? It looks like it's got some good webbing to it. Let's see. So here's what I'm getting at. Can we do this? I need to go. That might just work as is. What about up front? Is it narrower? More narrow? I think it's too far forward. But yeah, we are almost there on both sides. So I think I need to go take this and get the carbide bit and lengthen both of these sides out a little bit. And we might be able to just get away with just the energy suspension route right there. And if so, that would be awesome because this looks like it's the center line of the trans, which that would center everything up where it needs to go. How good would that be? All right, carbide bit, let's go. We're just gonna try to open this guy up a little bit. A little bit on both sides. We don't need a whole lot, like 1/8 of an inch is all we need. Go grab the, oh yeah, that's going to be plenty. Now we'll do it to the poly part itself. Here we go. Let's see if this is going to work. All right. Holes are elongated. Make sure we use our base plate. It squashes the polyurethane. I've not used a base plate before and it broke. So now I use the base plate every time. There's probably a good reason for it. I can't explain it to you. I can just tell you use it. But I bet we can get away with just doing this. That is awesome. Little bit of opening up and here we go. That's fantastic. Try to get it as centered as I can. Here we go. Holy crap, that is so cool. I think we're going to be in business. Let's see if we can get this guy up in here now. It goes on top. And we'll get some bolts in it. We're going to go to the very front and see if this is going to line up. How cool would that be if it does? I'm telling y'all, I love this damn crossmember. It is so versatile. Okay. Well, here comes the moment of truth. I'm going to let the trans down and see if we're going to be able to line it up. Oh, we are. It's got to go over a ways, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Oh yeah. Check that out. I'll have to show you in a minute, guys. You can't see underneath where I'm putting these bolts in. But that's totally going to work. Here's my reason for celebration. Look at that. Square. Had to pry it over, but we are lined up. We are bolted in. We just got to tighten everything up for good. And the trans and engine are fully mounted in the truck. That was, I was going to say way easier than I thought it would be, but I had faith in this transmission mount. I'm telling you, it's so versatile. We might be able to come back to the middle ones. I'm not sure how far that would go. It might put it up here in the front instead of the back. But I like where it's at. I think we're going to just keep it. I'm going to kind of snug everything up real quick. And that part is done. How cool is that? I'm pretty stoked on how that worked out. That all bolted up so good. It looks to be in a good place. The transmission's at a good angle. We might be able to use a shim to raise the back if we need to. The truck's got a little bit of a reverse rake to it because it's got too big of aluminum blocks in the rear, so it's a little bit lower in the rear and the front. So we're planning on fixing that. However, coming to find out, some of that work that I just did may have been in vain, or all of that transmission mounting work, because the overdrive unit on this transmission right now is for a 4-wheel drive, and we need to convert it to a 2-wheel drive. And I thought it mounted on the back of this flange right here, but it doesn't. That's where a transfer case mounts. So you actually have to pull the whole overdrive unit off, which is actually a little bit more in front of that, and the transmission mount is different between 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. We did find a solution that's not cheap that would let us use what we have now. Or we already have a 2-wheel drive overdrive unit that needs to be installed on the back of the trans. And then we would have to kind of refab our transmission mount. We already have one, so we don't have that expense. However, you do have to pull the overdrive unit out, make sure it's shimmed correctly, put the two-wheel drive in, and hopefully everything works. So there's a lot more work with converting it that way. The other one just bolts onto the back of the overdrive housing for a four-wheel drive and makes it into a two-wheel drive. It makes it an output shaft. So what do you do? I don't know. We're going to think about it. So definitely not something that's going to be answered in this video right now, but Greg and I will talk about it and kind of figure it out, because I don't want to pull this stuff out right now. I want to try to get it. I want to get more fabrication done, if that makes sense. Now, some of the things I'm noticing is, now that we have the transmission moved over, it has put some pressure on the motor mounts. These motor mounts are cheap, and they are just vulcanized to the metal. So I don't know how long that's going to last. So we're probably going to look at a different solution for motor mounts, which is fine. We can make something work for that. I have an idea that probably won't take any modification, but they're twisted a little bit because we moved that transmission over some. They would probably work for a short period of time, but not for a long period of time. I have a feeling they would. This vulcanization will go loose, and that would be it. Although there's a lot of movement in there, they might be okay. So we're kind of at a crossroads on that. So what do we do next? What can we do next? Well, at the minimum, I can throw the front end back on the truck. So that's what I'm going to do. Kind of get a little snug down, because now we can fabricate the radiator, at least figure out the dimensions of the radiator we want to buy, how we're going to modify the core support, and what we can and can't fit in there. Because since it's already in place, we might as well start figuring out what else fits and what does not. Yeah, so once we get all that stuff on the front, we can kind of go from there and do all that, because we do need to pull the motor back out and actually do some upgrades to the engine itself before we even try to start it. But let's try to not keep pulling it in and out, and use our time wisely while it's in the truck finally mounted up exactly where it's going to be. So yeah, let's go ahead and let me do that. I'm just going to get the front end on, get some headers on, and maybe it for this video, but we'll see. We'll see what else we can get done. So here we go. Well, from here on out, it's just kind of figuring out the smaller stuff. The big mounting of the drivetrain is done. Kind of playing with some ideas here. Thinking that we can do a radiator up to about 30 inches wide. Kind of getting an idea where I may want to cut the core support. I do want to try to keep this section here, because the grill mounts to it. So if we can keep that, that would be probably somewhat beneficial to keep everything in place there. I have a feeling we're going to have to cut a lot of this out, because the crank, if we look at it, it's almost level with the front of the core support. This snout for the water pump sticks out about an inch forward from the crank. So we're going to need to make sure that our radiator is at least 3/4 of an inch to an inch off of that snout. So from there, we can come in about 3 inches back or so, but we got to figure out what else we're going to run into. So we've got a lot of figuring to do, some straight edging and some things to that extent to figure out where things are going to lie. But what would be nice is if I could do some research and see if I can find a radiator that's 27.5 to 30 inches wide, 19 inches to about 22 inches tall, and no more than 3 inches wide, that'll fit in that space. And if I do, I think I'm going to mock up a box as a fake radiator and we'll try to see how we can get it all fabbed up in here and get it working. So what's going to be really difficult is this is a 2-inch inlet and a 2-inch outlet, I believe, wherever it's at. And I'm not finding a lot of radiators with that option there. So we may have to use some adapters and things to that extent. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But now I got some research to do now. So I'm at the point where I got to do some researching. Got to do some reaching out to some companies about maybe that 2-wheel drive shaft adapter there and see if what we can do about that. Yeah, get some opinions from other folks and kind of go from there. So we're on to it. We're making headway. This is probably a little bit of a shorter video than usual, but we are making headway, and I'm excited for that. So thanks, you guys. You guys are awesome. I've never had so many comments. The videos are doing so good, and I can't appreciate you guys more than checking this stuff out, letting us know how you feel about it, all that kind of fun stuff. So thank you guys so much. We certainly appreciate it. And if you are new and you just stumbled across the channel, subscribe. Please consider subscribing. It's free. It's free. And then you can hang out with us until we get this thing on the road doing some killer burnouts. So I can't wait to be doing that. So you can check out some of our other progress that we do. I try to post it on Facebook and Instagram when I get a chance, and that's at the Racer X Garage. And I was hoping to get our sample t-shirts in, but they did not come in yet. So waiting on those, but we do have some other merch at racerxgarage.com, so check it out. And yeah, we're gonna make some plans for our next step on this thing, and I'm excited to keep pushing and moving along. So research, and then come back to you guys and let you know what's going on. So I do have some stuff to do on my Corvette, so you may see that here coming up next. And we may, skip a week on the V10, but we'll get right back on it if we do. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Until next time, y'all be good.